Welcome to DiversityMBAPrep.com. I'm Nicole Lindsay, and today's topic is don't let your resume drag your MBA application down. Everyone has a resume long before applying to business school, so it's easy to feel like you've been there, done that with the resume component of your MBA application. But that thinking can lead your resume to be a drag on your application. Instead, I want you to reimagine your resume, not for getting a job, though you want to be fully employable, but for gaining admission to business school. So the first thing, don't let your resume be a drag by considering the multiple audiences and multiple purposes of the resume. First, you have the application reader. They get your resume among all the other parts of your application, and the resume serves as a snapshot or a timeline of your background. Whereas for an admissions interviewer, the resume may be the only information that they have about you. It's their introduction to you, and it tells your professional story to date. And then finally, you have the admissions or scholarship committees that may be using your resume as a quick summary. So they may have your entire application, but aren't going to go back and read it when they're discussing you for admission or for financial aid. And there again, it serves as a summary and a reminder of your background. So I want you to consider the messages that you need to convey across all of these audiences so that you can get admitted to business school. The second thing I want you to consider so that your resume is not a drag on your application is to avoid unnecessary or questionable items on your resume. In terms of the unnecessary items, you don't need an objective statement. We all know you're applying to business school. Avoid acronyms and references that aren't that common. You want to avoid listing every activity that you're involved in. Opt for those things that are most meaningful. Again, remember, you're trying to tell a story. I don't like when people add on GMAT score, you have a 780. It doesn't really add that much to your application. If you are doing consulting, maybe it makes sense to include it, but otherwise I'd leave it off. And then you want to avoid too much industry jargon. You don't have to eliminate it completely, but you don't want to go on and on and on where it seems like it's a foreign language. In terms of questionable items, odd email, avoid, honeyboo@gmail.com. You want to make sure all of your colleges are listed, not just the one you graduated from. You want to avoid misleading information. So one of my pet peeves is when people put down that they went to Harvard when they just took a class at the Harvard Extension, right? You want to just make it clear that you took a class at the Harvard Extension and you don't have Harvard in bright lights at the top of your resume. And then you want to make sure that you have results. You want someone to quickly look at your resume and see that you had an impact in your job. So some final thoughts on submitting a strong MBA application resume. So first, don't rely on your current version of your resume. Redo it. You want it to be one page. You want to make sure that you have no typos, that your margins are on point, and avoid being too creative. Form is really, really important. The aesthetics of your resume are important because that's the first thing that someone sees. So spend time on that, not just on the substance. And then consider what story you're telling through your resume. So to learn more about your resume and other components of the MBA application, I encourage you to visit us at DiversityMBAPrep.com. There's a link below this video. And of course, you can also follow us on Twitter. We're excited to be on this MBA journey with you. Be well.